Alright, so we're about to watch the Ultimate Bro movie. I guess about to review the Ultimate Bro movie. This movie came out in 2006. I think I saw it in 2008, 9, maybe 10. 10 or 9. No, it wasn't 10. It was 2009 or 8. And this movie, when I saw it, blew my mind. It was so good, I thought. And then I go back and rewatch it again, and I've seen this movie so many times at the point. It's a solid movie. Solid movie. You're like, Ollie, what movie are you talking about, man? Get to the point. Well, the point involves a lot of yelling, guys in pretty much little to no gear. Pretty much all they had was just a shield, a spear, and a sword, and this giant Greek helmet. And a lot of screaming, a lot of Gerard Butler. Gerard Butler carried this movie. Gerard Butler is the movie. The movie 300. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What is Movie Breakdowns? Movie review series. We look at new and old movies, give them a grade A through F, plus and minuses do count. And there's a movie you want me to review, please put it in the comment section below, and I'll get to it as best I can. I also have a Patreon at Ali Zakka. Look at yourself. Patreon/Ali Zakka. That's all it is. And on this Patreon, you get movie reviews that come out on Facebook and YouTube. You get first come, first serve when it comes to requests. You also get trailer reactions, trailer reviews, my first initial thoughts on movies, and a few other things. Now, let's get into today's review of 2006 300. Now, let's get at the best things in this movie. You have CGI, just phenomenal. The lighting, phenomenal. The music, phenomenal. The choreography, can I not say that word? Phenomenal. Like, the cinematography, phenomenal. This movie is so good. The art and the just everything about the lighting and the CGI and the colorations and the tone and the setting of the movie is phenomenal. This movie, when it came out, it changed the game. Matter of fact, you see a lot of people doing "This is Sparta." This is Sparta! Or using some of the slow motion stuff. Heck, Sucker Punch used in their movies for no apparent reason when Zack Synder did Sucker Punch. And Zack Synder did this one too. But the slow motion thing was done so well in this movie that it got used over and over again in other movies. And other movies try to take it and take the lighting and the coloration of it and how the way the movie is set and the tone and everything about this movie that this movie did so well. Other movies try to do it and emulate it and try to copy it, but it didn't work so well in the future. But this movie came out 2006. It set the stone and changed the game. I'm not even sure this movie won any awards here. Let me see. It had 17 wins and 45 nominations when it came to awards here. That's how great this movie was. And because of that, it was used all over the place. What's the movie about? It's about a small band of Spartans stepping up against the Persian army. And 300 men against an army of millions. I'm not sure a million, but thousands. Let's go with that way. And based off it's a loose adaptation of a real life event where a bunch of Spartans went up against the Persian army, and this movie made the Spartans seem like just badasses. Like they're kicking everybody's butt, they're dominating left and right. And there's a scene in this movie that's like one of my most favorite scenes in any movie. It's probably top 10, where they're getting held back and they're pushing back against the Persians. Persians are coming at them and they're holding their ground in this tunnel. It's called not the hot tunnel or Hell's Tunnel, but it's like a small narrow patch that allows the Persians to get to Sparta, where they're holding this tunnel down and they're like fighting off against them, and they're just getting pushed back. They like keep pushing back, and they stop moving, and then they notice they didn't move anymore. and they just like start pushing back. Like Leonardo gave the cue, and they just start kicking butt. And like this scene where the action goes super fast, with slow mo, and it just Leonardo's walking through this battlefield and slashing down every Persian soldier that could set foot. And like he hits two dudes with his spear, chuck a spear to another guy, smack a guy with his shield, picks his sword out, slice a couple guys down, and then he smacks another dude with his shield. I'm like cutting through this really quick. It's super, it's an epic scene, and the visual of it and the slow motion of it, and it is so great. It is so great. And the first time I saw this, I was like in awe. I was like, oh my gosh, I think I replayed this scene multiple times. And the scene that everybody thinks of when they watch 300, because it was just that great of a scene. Because you go from this like very dramatic music playing, and like this sound of like brushness, and the anticipation builds up, and then it goes super from like here to just calm, and you just hear like the sound of the battlefield. And it is such an epic moment that you like, good visuals, good audio usage, good, okay, this is something, this is something.
Oh, this is just too good.
And the story is simple. A few men rise against a giant army, little guy versus Goliath. Simple story. But then, here's where the movie messes up. Or it doesn't mess up, it just lacks. And that is really character development and everything else. Like, it doesn't really have character development. It doesn't really explore all the other characters. Heck, Michael Fassbender's in this movie. You didn't know that until somebody else saw somebody else's review of it, and they pointed out Michael Fassbender was in this. Cersei's in this movie. I knew she looked familiar, but yeah, she's in this movie. And the movie is a giant 90% of this movie is a flashback. It's a flashback. It's about a guy who is telling the story of Leonidas and telling the stories of the 300 Spartans. So you don't get to see the live event, you see the flashback of what happened that led to the point they are now. And but you know, as a flashback, you're not really upset because the story is a simple story. It works so well. It's told visually well. It's told pretty good on the screen, so you can follow the story. You're not upset because it's not just a boring flashback. It's a flashback that gives you perspective of what's about to happen, and then at the end of the movie, it sets up, the flashback sets up the upcoming movie, and like the fact that Spartans now are rising together to avenge the fallen king, who is King Leonidas, who stood up against this giant army and this dude who thought he was a god amongst men. And at the end of the movie, I remember being upset the first time I saw this because I was like, he didn't get the kill. Leonidas got trapped thanks to one of the guys he turned away, who was a deformed guy. He couldn't be a part of the Spartans because Spartans are perfect specimens, and anybody who is deformed gets tossed to the side to be killed. Well, with this guy, he didn't get tossed aside because his dad took him away or his mom took him away. I forgot what the exact storyline was, but he tried to join Leonidas' army. Leonidas said, I can't have you on my team, not my team, and my army cannot strong enough to hold a sword to protect yourself, and you'd be a hindrance. Well, Xerxes took a man who was the Persian king, took a man and pretty much said, I can give you everything you want, women, money, gold, whatever you want, as long as you betray Leonidas. And the guy did this. So Leonidas knew he was going to die, so he sent a few of his men off, and then him and the rest of his men, his soldiers, decided to take on Xerxes. And Xerxes goes to the battlefield. Leonidas chucks a spear at him, and it grabs Xerxes across the face. And I remember my dad would tell me, like, no, that's all you need to show that he's human. But I was very upset because, like, he died at the end. The good guy dies at the end. What kind of movie is this? You know, I get on this whole hype train thinking these few men can take down this giant empire. But in reality, no, it did. But it did show that Xerxes, who thought he was a god amongst men who can't be touched, is very, very mortal. And that was a really interesting story to take down somebody off their high pedal, take off the high horse and bring him down a notch. You know, it cost them out of his life. And I was like, huh, looking back on it now, I was like, that's pretty good. But at the moment, I was very upset. But the movie, it drags you in, gets your attention. But then watching it over and over again, it loses some of its luster. For example, there's a lot of stuff, story building in this movie that you really don't care about. There's a scene where the whole, like, Cersei's character, who, by the way, Cersei's name Lena. I probably just messed her name. Lena Headey. Lena Headey, who plays Queen Gorgo. She is trying to convince the councilman that they need troops, and so she's doing a little politicking and stuff like that. And you have this guy who's a weasel. I forget his name because it's not really necessary. Just know he's a bad dude. He's a traitor who's working for Cersei and trying to take down Spartan from the inside out. And that kind of stuff is kind of boring. There's certain scenes where we get like the battle scene where the Spartans are watching the storm destroy. It ain't a battle scene, but watching the storm destroy the Persians sailors and ships, and they're sitting there yelling and stuff like that. And I'm like, where does this scene come out of nowhere? It felt like, and then you get another scene where the Spartans are building this wall, and the wall is full of nothing but Persian men and rocks. And this Persian guy comes over and he's like antagonizing them, and it's like, nah man, not us. We Spartans don't play like that. And I was like, where this scene comes from? And it put me like a warning to Xerxes. But I'm like, okay, sure. And then you have the Xerxes meet Leonidas. He's like, okay, sure. Leonidas got to talk to the inbreds, oracles and people who make decisions. Okay, sure. Who are getting paid off by Xerxes. Okay, sure. It was like those things you didn't really care about. And I watched it again and I was just like, I'm trying to be invested, but it was like, eh. And I felt like the movie kind of dropped you off there, but then pick you up with these action scenes and then drop you off again, and picks you back up and drop you off again. And that's just Zack Synder. I feel like he's really good at action but not really good at telling a good complete story. But this movie didn't really need to be a grandiose story. You just need a reason for these men to fight against this giant person and have cool action scenes in the middle, in between. That's all you really needed. Like story writing wise, actors and actresses wise. Besides Gerard Butler being the voice of of Leonidas and being the face of Leonidas and what he did, you really don't need anything else. You really didn't. All the other characters, like I said, Michael Fassbender's in this movie. I had no idea. I was watching this movie. Freaking Magneto's in this movie. I had no idea. But Gerard Butler really carried this movie. This was like a Gerard Butler movie. Plain and simple. Everybody else was there, supporting cast, but it really was a Gerard Butler movie. But yeah, that's pretty much 300. That's like my thoughts and the story of it. It's a simple story. If you haven't seen 300, definitely watch it. Now, it's a gory movie. The movie is gory. It's rated R. You're going to have a sex scene in it. You're going to have people getting chopped off heads, chopped off arms. You're going to see it all in this movie. So don't be like, if you're somebody who get queasy or don't like brutality, this is probably not the movie for you. But you're like, I don't care. I'll watch anime. Let's go. Attack on Titans. You're going to enjoy this movie. You're going to enjoy it. Actors and actresses. Gerard Butler. What more do you want? That's it. I'm playing. But Gerard Butler did a phenomenal job as King Leonidas. He made the character who he was. He was believable. He had the voice, the tone. And that's another thing I liked about this. The Spartans had a different kind of voice than the Persians. The Persians all had a different kind of voice and style. And the Spartans had a different kind of voice and style. Xerxes, who played by Rodrigo Santoro, his voice and the way he talked and his cadence was so good. Like, I know what a Xerxes voice is. If I hear it, he did it so well. Like, Leonidas, you should join us Persians. Just take a knee to my feet. That's all you need to do. And you get to keep your people. Just need you to take a knee. Bow to me and declare me as your God. Like, his cadence, and Zack Synder, give him props for telling him to do the voice like that, because it was great. That was great. I like that. I like how they all sound unique, and you knew who the bad guys was and who the good guys was. And Leonardo had some quips back and forth, like, oh, I love taking a knee, but I got a cramp in my legs. So I can't take a knee from beating all your Persian men. Like, those little things were pretty cheeky. Michael Fassbender was Stelios. He was in the movie. Vincent Regan, who played Captain, they did great. Who else here? David Wenham, who played Delios. This guy, Dominic West, Theron, I think the guy name was. Yeah, Theron, played by Dominic West, was sleazy and he was good for what he did. And then Lena Headey. How do you pronounce her name? I need to figure this out now.
Headey.
Huh. Lena Headey. Neat. Lena Headey is her name. So she did great for her character. Is this a Friday night movie? Sure. Watch it on Friday night. Have fun. Knock yourself out. And grading time. I'm going to grade the movie 300 a B minus. A B minus. You're like, Ali, a B minus? What the heck, bro? Yeah. This movie, when it came out, was one of the best movies of what it did. The visual, the CGI. Now until you can find it left and right, it's no big deal. But at the point of this movie, it was done so well. The music, the tone, the lighting, the story, not so much, but everything else was done so well that you had to give props to this movie. Give props to Gerard Butler, who gave it A+ performance. Like, this movie, it was done really good. The problem is that you watch it over, you watch it again, and you literally break it down. Some of the pacing, I feel like the beginning of the movie is kind of off. The mid-story that you didn't really care about was there, but it didn't really hold your attention. I found it hard trying to watch it over again. You know, I've seen this movie 1,000 times. Probably why? Because it doesn't really capture you like that. It was an A+ movie. I'll sit there and watch it 100%. Like, I can watch Guardians of the Galaxy over and over again, regardless of how many times I've seen the movie, regardless of how many times I've seen the scenes. This one just didn't capture me like that. And I kept trying to watch it, kept trying to force myself to watch it through. And just like, I don't care about this character. I don't care about that character. It is what it is. Also, let me give a shout out to Andrew Thierman, who played Epius. He's the guy who is the deformed character. I give a shout out to him because he played his character role well too, and he felt like the guy where Leonardo looked at him at the end of the movie. He looked over and he just had this look of sadness on his face. I thought he did well. I should give him a shout out earlier, but I gotta give a shout out to him. Not just the makeup and the design of the kid. Like, for example, his makeup and design was done really well. You know, watch it again, cast the costume on him. But back at the time, it was like, oh man, this is really state-of-art movie here. So yeah, B- for the impact it had, for the visuals and everything it was, and it still holds up today. It's just that some of the storyline here and there you just fall off in, but the action captures you again, and then it drops you off again. B-. B- movie. If you've seen 300, what did you think? Please put in the comment section below. Other than that, if that movie you want me to watch, please tell me. Please put in the comment below. Have a great day. Keep being awesome. And thanks for watching the episode Movie Breakdown. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I really appreciate it. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, you want to see what else I'm doing in my normal life and other things that's going on, please follow me on Instagram at Ali_Zakka. I'll put it right here around my face. Yep, right there. Also, if you want more episodes of movie breakdowns or grind towards success or whatever it is I'm doing on YouTube, you know what? Follow my page right here, like I said before, the little comment thing right there, And then you can watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns right here, and watch the last episode of Grind Towards Success right there. Other than that, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate y'all. See y'all next time. Keep being awesome.